Welcome to the workshop. I'm having issues with the chat box. It was supposed to be a what do you call that? A Facebook box? Facebook? Something like that. And it's not working. So when a bunch of you show up live, I'm gonna actually go in and type in let me do this really quick for you guys. So I'm going to go in, you may have to refresh your page, but I'm going to type in the URL for the actual webinar because it's not working. So, okay, questions, go here to chat. Okay, so there is now going to be a link on the page that you're watching on. Let me hit save. You may have to refresh the page. There's now going to be a link on the page that links you over to YouTube to watch if you want to get involved in the chat. For some reason, the chat that I had installed is not working. So hello, Joy. Hello, Chalkin from the Heart. Hello, hello, hello. I can't tell who else is here, but if you refresh your page, let me take you and show you the page now so I can show you exactly where I'm talking about. Hold on just a second. I'm sorry. There's always technical issues, isn't there? Like always. So let me throw this over here. So on the page you're watching right here, if you will click on the URL that is right here, then it'll take you over to the live page on YouTube and you can comment there. Now, I still want you to watch on this page because a button is going to pop up down here later in the thing, but I want you to be able to comment with me, and I'm so sorry that was broken. So hello, everybody who's popping in. So head over there so you can comment. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right, let me switch back over to my slides, and we'll be good. So how's everybody doing today? You're going to have to ignore this box in my office because it's humongous. I bought a new desk and it's huge and I can't move the box. So you're welcome for that. Hello everybody who's here. Ray, Christian, Creative, Rachel, Eileen, Jen, all kinds of people popping in. So hello, hello, hello. All right, so we're going to get started because I want to make the most out of your time. But if you're just joining me, there is a link now on the page to take you over to the YouTube page to watch it there and comment there. So I'm so sorry the comments were broken. It's what I get for trying out something new, basically. So I'll figure it out, but it's fine. Hello from Romania. Hello, Courtney, Ashley, Stephanie. Oh my goodness, you ran 12 miles right before this video? Well, listen, I can't smell you, so it's cool. Hey, Ben. Hey, Diana. Let's see. All right. Okay, so I'm going to get started. If people pop in late, I may have to remind them to go over there, so just know that. Hey, Desiree. So anybody popping in late, I'll say it another time really quickly before we jump into the slides. My chat box wasn't working, so right below this video that you're watching, if you're watching it on the pretty page, says questions, and then it has a link to YouTube to go chat. It will pull up the YouTube video on the YouTube page, and you can chat in that chat box there, and that's what I'm seeing. So I'm so sorry for that. It's just, it's one of those things, right? So, all right, let's get started because I want to be able to hang out with y'all for as long as physically possible. You know what I mean? I know, 12 miles. Jess just said she ran 12 miles before she came on here. I did not. 2 is kind of my max. Like, I can run 2 miles. After that, I'm just done. I'm like, no. Hello from France. Okay, so we're going to keep this really conversational. If you have a question that's pertinent to the section we're at, go ahead and ask it. I may not answer it right then. I may scroll back up throughout the process of, the webinar. But, oh, okay, perfect. So yeah, if you click on the video, it'll also take you over there. And you have to refresh your screen for the link to show up. So that's probably why it wasn't Natalie. So, okay, if you guys are ready, I am ready. And you're just going to have to bear with me. I've got a little bit of a cough, but we're going to go through this. So we're going to be talking about today my 4-part framework. And it's literally a framework I use every single day to create content that grows your email list, authority, and income. Thank you so much, Kenny. Perfect. I drank 12 ounces of water. See, I'm good with that. I ate 1,200 calories in lunch. Either way is totally fine, guys. We're not gonna judge. We ain't judging. All right, so let me click over here. So I want to tell you some quick little fun fact stats that I'll explain here in just a second. One of those is that there is 1.5 billion, literally billion, websites in the world. And that number is always growing. So I pulled that maybe a month ago, so it's probably more than that now. But there are 1.5 billion websites in the world. There are 23 million active YouTube channels and about 800,000 active podcasts right now. And what's really powerful about all three of those, I'm going to knock something over on my desk, y'all. What's really powerful about all three of those numbers is that they're all different ways we can create content and put ourselves out into the world. So 1.5 billion websites, that's a lot of competition. 23 million active YouTube channels, a lot of competition. 800,000 active podcasts. It may not be as much competition as the other two, but it's still a lot. So the deal here is, though, that all of that, even though there's 1.5 billion websites in the world, 23 million active YouTube channels, 800,000 podcasts, all the things, literally every single day, there are 3.5 billion Google searches every day. Billion. So it doesn't really matter how much content is already out in the world. You can make your place and be one of those people who is found when people search for things on Google. That's mostly what I'm going to talk about today, because this is what's so important about content marketing, is being found when people search for things, and being found when people search for the things that you want to be found for, right? So if I want, I'm a web designer, or, I'm a personal trainer, or, I'm a calligrapher, right? Then I want to be creating content out in these websites, YouTube channels, podcast world, that when someone searches on Google or on iTunes or on YouTube or wherever they're searching, then they are finding me and my content. Okay, so that's what we're going to teach today. Emily said, all the things, love when you say that. Thanks, because I literally say it all the time. So At Home with Jen makes me wonder if I should start a podcast. So I'm going to talk about the different platforms, but I'll explain more about why you shouldn't, all the things. I'm so sorry, Kim, that you couldn't get it working. I can't get the chat up on the page, so I'll say it one more time. If you are on the page watching and you can't see the chat, refresh your page. There'll be a link at the bottom to go over to YouTube so you can chat, or if you click the video, it will take you over to YouTube to watch, okay? So either way you slice it, you can join us in the chat. All right, so again, you want to be the person found in those searches, and the only way you can do that is with content creation. Now, I did a little rant, if you will, on the Instagrams the other day, because I so often see people running Facebook ads or promoting something where it's like, get 30 days of content free, or 365 days of content, or get a month's worth of content or a quarter's worth of content, which is fine, but 99% of the time they are talking about social media. Let me tell you a couple things about social media. One, they ain't being found in search results. The only time something on Facebook or Instagram and Instagram's basically never, but the only time things like that are being found in search engines is when someone is searching for your name. So if you go search for my name, Jessica Stansberry, you'll probably find my Facebook page, and you'll probably find my LinkedIn page. You might even find Instagram. But if they go searching, let's say I made a big Facebook post, and I did the other day, I did a Facebook Live about MLMs and how people in MLMs are just doing it wrong. I don't have anything against them. I really like MLMs, but people are doing it wrong, and here's some tips on how to do that. I will never be found in Google for MLM tips or MLM marketing tips or anything like that, even if I keyworded the crap out of my Facebook post, okay? Oh, I'm so glad you made it to the chat. Thank you. I'm so sorry. It's one of those things that, oh yeah, and a realtor. Thanks, Nicole. So there's a realtor in my local area that has the same name as me, which is hysterical. And you'll find her randomly, but most of the time you're going to find me. I told her, I was like, I'm sorry I took over the internet for your name, but I'm kind of not at the same time. I got to meet her not long ago and I was like, sorry. Anyway, so social media is not search friendly, okay? So yes, you might have a social media post go viral and that grows your page, or you might have something go viral or get picked up somewhere and it grows and takes off, but it's not going to work for you for more than 2 weeks, if that. Social media has a shelf life. So Rachel asked MLMs, multi-level marketing. Is that what it is? Network marketing. So anything that's like, join my team, Pampered Chef, Arbonne, Beachbody, those kind of things. So anyway, social media is not searchable. And so if someone is going to the internet, and they are, remember back here, 3.5 billion Google searches a day. If people are going to the Googles and they are searching for the things, you want to be the person being found for the things. You want to be the person showing up in the Google results that causes people to then come into your ecosystem. That is the biggest piece of the puzzle. Oh, totally. Ashley said, if a post on social media lives for 3 days, I'm doing it really good. Most of the time, that is totally the case. If you had something go viral, I could see like maybe 2 weeks, but honest to Pete, like social media is very much so a shelf life kind of platform. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do social media. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you want to create content that actually works for you, it has to be search-driven content. So I'm going to tell you the 3 ways to create search-driven content here in just a second. But essentially, like, here's one example of something, and I think my face is in the way on the thing, but how to use ClickUp. If you search for that, my 2 videos on YouTube are the first 2 results as far as like videos go on the Google search. And then people are clicking those videos, coming over to my YouTube channel, subscribing to my YouTube channel, maybe watching other videos, maybe getting a content upgrade and getting on my email list. And then a lot of the people watching this webinar right now found me through a video or found me through a blog post, right? So, you have to know that you have to create search-driven content. So, Christian Creative, what's your name? I want to call you by your name, not your handle if I can. So she said, what about Pinterest? Pinterest is a search engine itself. Your content, your SEO-driven content, so search engine optimization is SEO. Your search-driven content, the 3 platforms I'm going to talk about, can be optimized and also put on Pinterest. That it's not a social media platform though. So, it's more of a search engine. So if you look at like what the most popular search engines in the world are, it's Google, YouTube, Pinterest. So you want to be utilizing those as a way for people to find your content, but the type of content you put out into the world is the same either way you go. Okay. Yep, Pinterest. I found you through a video about digital Bible journaling. Yep, through a video. My name is Sheena. Thank you. Okay, I'll try and remember. I can't make a promise. If I can't remember it, I'll like scroll and then I'll remember it. Okay, so who here can relate to this? Oh man, I gotta move my face again. This is the problem with I want to talk to you guys and have a conversation and not just hide behind my slides. But the problem is my face is always in like a weird spot. So who here can relate to this? You have created content on social media or even through a podcast, YouTube channel, or blog, and nobody is viewing it and you're not growing. Can I get like a praisey hand or a me or something like that in the comments? That would be great. Because I know how that is. Like you are creating content in whatever you want to create content for, right? But nobody's actually finding you. Can I get a me? Desiree, I just watch everything you do. Well, thanks, sweetheart. Yay, got to the chat to work. So if you are brand new here, I'm going to throw this in while I'm waiting for people to raise their hands. If you are just popping onto the webinar and you're watching on the pretty page, if you'll click the video or if you will click the link below the video, you may have to refresh your page to see it. It will take you over to YouTube where you can get the comment section. My comment tool that I had plugged into the page isn't working, so that's our best solution. Oh my goodness, all the yeses. Everybody's like, yes, yes, yes. Hey, Shalimar. Yes, 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 yes. Me. So lots of yeses, lots of me's. Because here's what happens, because I did it too. If we just put out content because somebody's telling us to put out content, right? Like we know we should. We have heard enough people say you should be podcasting, you should be blogging, you should be YouTubing, you should be social mediaing, all the things. Then if we do that, we think it's automatically going to be successful, but the problem is you don't have the framework to make it successful. So hopefully throughout this webinar, you're going to really learn how to not do that for me. Clicking the video is totally fine, Angela. Awesome. Okay. There's my face over top of my words. Let's put my face over my face. That'll look funny. Okay. So, hey, Emily. Yes. Leopard Loving Ladies. I just spoke at a conference. I'm actually going to mention that conference, in this workshop. So yay for popping over. That looks fun. This looks funny, doesn't it? Cause I'm on top of my, it looks like this could be me in the picture. Sorry. Okay. I'm too easily distracted. You're never going to want to miss a webinar with me because I'm ridiculous. Okay. So I want to tell you a little bit about me. Yes, Brenda, I'm totally aware the chat's not working. You just need to pop over to YouTube. And it looks like you got it. So I want to tell you a little bit about me. Okay. I started my business in 2010. Let's start there. So I started my business in 2010. And in 2010, I basically which might be what a lot of you are doing now, I basically just hoped that people would find me and do what I want what I did. I don't know what it was. It was just I would put myself out into the world and just hoped people would figure out I was here. Right. Oh yeah. You guys are loving this. Here, I can shrink back down. It really does look like I'm in the picture. Anyway, so essentially I would just kind of work by word of mouth, but I was always working on this trajectory of I got a client. And that meant at the time, that we could pay for gas that month and diapers. Honest to Pete. That was how close we were working with our budget. I needed to make enough to pay for gas and buy diapers every month, or we were not going to be able to do that. Okay. So 2010, I'm like, oh my gosh, I finished this project. Where's the next client coming from? And I would get one because of word of mouth from the last client. That's basically how it worked. But I was always on this conveyor belt of work, get a client, yay, oh crap, I gotta get another one, yay, oh crap, I gotta get another one, right? And what happened was I eventually realized that I needed to be more visible to get clients and to get people. So at the time, for those of you that don't know, I did web design and graphic design. And since then, I'm going to move this because I feel like it's really distracting to me. I feel like I'm talking in my own body. So since then, I've kind of morphed and changed. But what happened was I realized that I needed to be visible for people to understand who I was and what I could help them with. So in the process of getting visible, I didn't know what to do. I was blogging occasionally. I was doing things here and there occasionally. At the time, Periscope was a thing. This is 2015. Periscope was a thing. I was kind of just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that people were going to find me. Okay. But what happened was I got myself on this perpetual hamster wheel where I absolutely had to continue doing that content or I would lose momentum. So I had to keep jumping in Facebook groups and, answering people's questions. I had to keep being an expert to get people to see me. I had to show up all the time on Facebook Lives and things like that. So many of you are saying that is you right now. Yes. Okay. So many of you are in that same spot. I was 100% there. And then I eventually was I got to be more visible. And I was just kind of blah, I don't know what to do, but this looks good. somewhere along the way, I was blogging and I realized that YouTube videos, if I would create a YouTube video that went along with my blog post and embedded it in my blog post and really optimized the crap out of it, basically, that it would help the SEO of that blog post. I still didn't know a lot about SEO, but I figured that part out, okay? So I started doing that, and in June of 2017, I had about 500 YouTube subscribers. I'm trying to think. I had never been asked to speak at a conference at this point. I don't think. No, I'm pretty sure I hadn't. So maybe some local things, but nothing like where somebody was like, you should come speak at my conference. I had very, very few subscribers. And I'm sorry, this number's wrong. It's June 2016. I'm like, this sounds off. Okay, June of 2016, I had 500 YouTube subscribers, and they were basically all coming from people who were already on my email list anyway, which is not the point. The point is to create content so new people find us, okay? The 500 subscribers initially was from, and again, mark out the 7 there. It was 2016. I knew that didn't sound right. Was from 6 years, because I started my business in 2010, of email list growth. 6 years of email list growth got me 500 subscribers probably on my email list and 500 YouTube subscribers. It was somewhere, they always kind of floated around the same number there for a while. They don't now. But essentially, I'm like, okay, I can't keep like running this race. Like I eventually need to eat and like chug water, because oh my gosh, I can't keep running this race of where, like, how are people finding me, and basically sending people from my existing audience over to a new audience, because that's not the point, right? So again, June of 2016, ignore that 7, I had 500 YouTube subscribers. They were existing people, and I probably had about 200 website visits per month. This was all coming from me being visible in like Facebook groups, things like that, but things that had to be done almost every day or I would just fall off the face of the earth. Will this be recorded? Yes, you'll get a replay link after it's over. And then there was a question about how to know what to vlog or blog about. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm just going to talk about it. So I had all of this, that was just kind of there, after 6 years. 6 years. Guys, that is not, I don't want any of y'all to spend 6 years just to get 500 YouTube subscribers, or just to get 500 email subscribers, or just to get 200 people on your coming to your website every month. I want you to fast track it, okay? So now, today, I gain over 100 new email list subscribers a day, okay? A day. My website gets about 50,000 hits per month. It kind of varies. And right now, I actually took a big hit because I changed my domain name. And that's a big SEO no-no. It'll catch back up, but, I'm just okay with it for now. So my website gets about 50,000 hits per month. And over 75% of my income is directly related to my YouTube content, my blogging content, or my podcast content. Let me explain this a little bit more. I am creating content that works for me. Like, it literally works for me. I'm going to show you tons of examples. But this content, I'm recording one time and putting out into the interwebs in some way, recording, writing, or videoing one time, putting it out into the internet. And if I need to take a month off because I'm sick from showing up all the time online, I will still have these numbers. Basically, all of 2019, all of 2018 and 2019, guys, I stepped back a lot from showing up on the internet. And that was because I needed that time to kind of figure out where my space was in this world. In 2018, we were building our house, and it was just like a whirlwind of things. So I stepped back so much from where I had been used to showing up on the internet, but you would never know that. Never. Because this content was going out all the time. Okay. So I had it autopiloted. So trust me, it's a thing. I promise. I don't have a massive team. I have a team. It's not a massive team. And we can talk about all of that too. So, my computer just yelled at me. All right. So today, my face again. Dad burn a monkey. Okay. So today you're going to learn, yes, I'm going to talk about which one works for which thing. And I'm going to talk about the 3 platforms you need to choose from here in just a minute. So today you're going to learn how to use content. And by content, I do not mean social media. I'm sorry, Wendy, that it wasn't working. But how to use content, not social media, search-driven content. And there's really only 3 types of search-driven content, okay? Those are YouTube, blog, and podcast. I don't mean you need to use all of them. I actually would highly recommend that you don't, and we're going to talk about that. But YouTube, blogging, podcasting, one of those, how to use some type of content to gain leads. So people to your email list, people to your social media, all the things, and ultimately grow your income, okay? So here's the things we're going to talk about. 1, the mistakes you're making when creating content, because I did it too. And I think that will help. A lot of times it's like, we know what we should do, but we don't realize what we're doing wrong. You know what I mean? So the mistakes you're making, why you should be creating this evergreen content, which we've talked a little bit about that already, but we're going to continue. Oh, no, Wendy, the chat just wasn't working. So I have to send people over to YouTube. And then how to make the content work for you. So okay, it's great that we figure out what content platform we should be on, and it's great that we, can do it, but how does that actually work? And my 4-part formula or framework to creating content that converts to email subscribers, authority, and income, okay? So, yes, totally, Leah, absolutely. Okay. I know how you feel. I can't iterate this enough. Brenda. Oh, that's a good question. I can totally talk about that in a second. I cannot tell you enough that I 100% know how you feel if you've been creating content and it just feels like nobody's paying attention to it. Whether you've been creating YouTube, podcast, or blog content, or if you're just creating social content, I 100% know how that feels because I have been there. Like I say, from 2010 to say 2016, I was blogging consistently that whole time. I was blogging. I wanted to be a blogger. I had multiple blogs. I had business blogs, mommy blogs, all the things. Blogging was a little different back then, but I had content that I was putting out and nobody was finding it. And it was really, really frustrating because I just thought if I do it, they'll find it, right? So trust me, I know how it feels. So again, hi. Oh, my face over my face again. Hello, that's me. I'm Jessica. If you're new here, hopefully you've learned a lot about me already. I'm a little bit of a nerd, and that's me. And from 2010 to 2015, my business literally went nowhere fast. Honest to Pete, I already talked about it a little bit, but I basically stayed on a treadmill of having to run after that next client or that next sale. So I was in web design, so it would be I'd get a client and I'd be good for a month or even a couple weeks or whatever. And then it'd be oh crap, how am I getting that next client? But then it would also be how am I going to get that next client, but also actually get the work done, for the client I got. So it's just this constant battle, okay? And I got nowhere. Let me tell you, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you I got nowhere. So 2010, I made no money in my business. I had just quit my corporate job. I made zero money. 2011 through 2014, I think, I made at most $10,000 in my business. And I could literally pull out my tax returns and show you. $10,000 in my business. I didn't make enough in my business to even have to pay in taxes. I had 2 kids during that time. And my tax return that I would get because of the 2 kids covered whatever taxes, and we still got a return back. Like, that's how little money I got, right? And I would see these memes about business owners who were like, oh yeah, the tax refunds are not existent in our world. And I'd be like, oh, they are in mine. But it's because I was making no money. So that was until about 2014. 2014, we went through some major shifts in our personal life. And we sold our house, which had a fairly decent sized mortgage payment, and bought a cheaper house. And that allowed me to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, something's not working. Like, it shouldn't feel like this. And I knew that, but it was kind of not until then, where we weren't like totally struggling dollar for dollar, that I could kind of take a step back and say, what am I doing and how do I fix it? So 2015 was a hugely pivotal year in my business. It's when I started my first podcast. It is when I really got consistent with blogging for my business. It's when I raised all my prices. It is when I kind of figured the whole thing out and started moving towards the trajectory of like more success in selling things on autopilot. 2015 was not a year that I started selling anything on autopilot. I will say I started creating YouTube videos in 2016, and about halfway through the year in 2017, I finally felt like I figured it out and was actually gaining leads on autopilot and learned how to double it down. So I don't want y'all to spend, number one, 2010 to 2015 is 5 years, right? Definitely don't want you to spend 5 years. But I also don't want you to spend a year figuring it out. I want you to know how to do it right now, okay? So like I say, something changed in 2015. And what really started to change, and I will say this, my face is cut off again. I'm dying. Okay. So I will say this with 100% candidness. And by the way, if you're leaving questions, I'm going to get to all of them in a second. And if I don't get to them when they're relevant, I will totally get to them all at the end of the webinar. But this is what happened. 2014 happened. We sold our house, blah, blah, blah. My youngest son was 2, and my oldest son was already in school. He had started kindergarten that year. Well, I would have conversations with my husband about my business or about things we wanted to do in life, because we didn't always want to be those broke people, where when we moved into this cheaper house, I scrambled because I wanted one so bad. I scrambled to figure out how in the world I could get enough clients to cover what bills I needed to cover, like my income needed to cover for the family, and also buy a dishwasher. Because at this point in our life, we had never had extra, ever. Literally, we got married in college to, so broke college, married kids, then first corporate jobs, which didn't pay anything, then went to me not working, right, because I wasn't making that much money. And once I still started making a little more, when I raised my prices and all the things, it still only covered the necessities. And, our kids playing sports. It didn't cover extras like a dishwasher, right? So what started happening is my husband and I would have conversations about things we wanted to do in the future. And he would be like, yeah, well, when you go back to school or when you go back to work, when our littlest one goes to school and you go back to work. And that was always kind of the well, that's when we can do that thing. And it literally sucker punched me. I don't want to go back to work. I am not a human who is built for corporate America. I'm just not. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like for other people telling me what I have to do with my day. And I very much so enjoy my freedom. If I want to sit around and watch Netflix all day, I want to be able to do that. Not that I do, but if I wanted to, I want to have the freedom to do that. So him saying that in conversation literally was like somebody punching me in the gut, right? And I started making promises to myself. I'm like, okay, I have got to figure this out. I've got to at least make, and I don't remember the number now, but I knew I set a bar of money that I needed to at least make in my business every single month, so that he would stop saying that and he would start seeing my business as, something that I could sustain forever, right? So I made that promise to myself. I made a promise to myself that I would never go back to corporate. And I don't try and break promises to myself. Like when I did that, I was like, okay, we're in this, girlfriend. You've got 2 years until your son starts preschool to figure out how to friggin' do this so that you don't ever have to go back to corporate. Okay. So that was kind of what changed. My dumb face is in the way again. Okay. So that was the mindset change. Okay. That was me saying, I've got to change this because I'm not going to continue down this path. But then I realized that if I didn't do something like different, then nothing was going to change, right? You know, that definition of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. That's exactly, I knew that in my head. I'm like, well, for 5 years now, I have worked in this business, and yes, I've made a little more in the last year, but it's still not enough to make me not have to go back to work, right? And so that was my mindset shift, and I started kind of digging in to see how I was going to be able to do that. There were 3 things that really made me able to shift out of where I was to where I am now, okay? And even on the path to where I am now. Visibility was a huge game changer. People can't buy from you if they don't know who you are, right? They can't. And visibility is the key to causing people to know you without you having to do a lot of work to do that. But again, if you're counting on social media for visibility, it dies out really quickly and you constantly have to be on that rat race, okay? Corporate, yes, you guys are feeling me. I understand. So visibility, I knew was key. I knew that the most successful people that I knew were really visible in the online world. Veronica, probably an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, maybe, probably not quite 90 minutes. So, and there's a recording. So if you can't stay for the whole thing, I completely understand. So for me, I realized that creating content was going to be the vehicle to visibility. The reason I realized that was because I realized that people would ask me for links. Oh, Content Camp is the name of this webinar. I'll tell more about something else here in just a minute. But sorry, I just want to answer those questions. So content, I knew that here's what happened. I had a question that was being asked to me over and over and over again. I had done my work to be visible in Facebook groups. I had done the Periscope things and tried to be visible all the time. And I was constantly being asked very similar questions over and over. So instead of answering them literally in repetitive motions, I made blog posts and YouTube tutorials for them on total accident. It wasn't like I did it on purpose. I literally made that because it was something where I could share the link rather than having to type out the same thing over and over or share a video over and over from Periscope, right? So I was in Facebook groups and people would be like, how do you do this? And then I would explain how to do it. And then another person would ask how to do it the next day. And I wasn't going to type and, that didn't make a lot of sense. So I realized that for me to share my expertise, I was going to have to create content that I could share over and over and over again. Then my email list, when it started growing, I realized that was like a massive key to growing my business. If I could grow my email list, then I could grow the eyeballs that were happening, watching my content in whatever way possible, right? If I could grow my email list, I could grow the amount of people who were paying attention to me. And then if I launched something or created a sale or whatever, I would have a lot more people who would buy it. And if I was just focused on being visible in Facebook groups and, all of those kind of marketing skills or strategies or running Facebook ads or whatever, then it would never happen organically. It was just going to happen when I said it would happen. And I needed to create a way that it would happen organically. So that's where the content came in. So Wendy, I think Wendy's on here. I pulled this. Oh my face is on here again. Hold on. I pulled this quote from our inner circle where I have taught quite a bit of SEO strategy and content creation strategy. And Wendy has been an amazing student. But this is Wendy. She is from Creation Depot. And this was something she posted in the Facebook group like a day ago or, a week ago. Said, I'm already at 250 website visits in 5 days. This was from starting to implement some SEO strategies we talked about. That means I'm estimating about 1,500 visits per month. That's triple what it used to be back before I started doing all this lead and SEO stuff. And I haven't even really been pushing my site too hard. Just just blog posts to support the YouTube channel more or less makes me want to actually try. So Wendy is on here, and Wendy is a web designer. So first of all, if you need a web designer, go check her out. But second of all, I have seen her literally start from zero as far as audience goes and take all the information that she's been given and filter it out. She came to one of my one-day workshops, or my only one I've done so far, my one-day workshop in Atlanta, and was like soaking everything up. And literally all she's doing is creating a blog post with a YouTube video, and she has already tripled the traffic she had. Now that traffic is going to come to her website. They're going to see what an amazing web designer she is, and she is going to convert a certain percentage of that traffic to clients and customers, right? So it is a massively effective strategy. So I want to show you like how to do it. Okay. And again, if you're asking questions in the comments, I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to ask for questions at the end, I promise. So I want to see, like how many of you are ready to see how you can have kind of the same results I've had, like for myself, but also for so many others in your business, right? Like so many of you are saying, Jessica, I've been there. I've done that. Yes. am creating content and nobody is reading it or watching it or listening to it. I am barely making it by. I am at a point where I cannot go back to corporate. Like I hear you guys. So I know you're ready to hear this. I'm so pumped. Okay. So let's just dive in. Okay. So again, I'm going to click through these really quick because we don't really need to reiterate them. We're going to talk about the mistakes you're making. Good, Wendy. Awesome. So we're going to talk about the mistakes you are making. So whether you're already using content or you're not, the 4-part framework and what businesses can actually use these methods. And, let me go back. Yay. And I'm going to also talk about like what business might be best with what method too. Okay. So let me go back here. Okay, so the mistakes. These are the 3 mistakes. I'm not going to linger on the mistakes. Mainly, they are that you are using social media as your content. Social media should feed off of your search-driven content. And I'm not going to go in depth on this in here because it would take us too long, but if you are creating search-driven content, YouTube, blog, podcast, all the things, if you are creating any one of those, again, I don't want you to create all of them. You will lose your mind. I create all of them, but I have help. And I have also had years to perfect each like stream of each thing. Okay. But if you are creating that type of content, your social media content should just be a direct relation to that and sending people to that content. So if you are seeing your social media as your content, that's why it's not working for you, because social media is not search driven. And it's also not, doesn't have a shelf life. It basically like dies a very fast death within a couple of days of publishing. So it's also, if you're making a mistake, yes, of course, we're going to talk about each type of business and what type of platform you can use for each one. Excuse me. Okay, so another mistake you're making is that it's not optimized. And this was probably the mistake I was making for a really long time. Like I say, I have blogged consistently in some shape or form since 2010 and never had results till I actually started optimizing my content. So if you are just plopping videos out or just plopping podcast episodes out or just plopping blog posts out, it's not actually going to work, okay? And then the third mistake, maybe you are creating some type of search-driven content and you are optimizing, but you're not actually taking those people and turning them into sales. So that's what we're going to talk about. So you just doing the things won't get you results. You have to do it with intention. You can't just do things because somebody told you you should. You actually have to do them for the sake of growing your business. Yes, you should be on Instagram. Yes, you should be on this. Like I just said Instagram as an example. I don't mean everybody should be on it because I'm a big believer in one platform. But you should absolutely be doing a lot of the things you're hearing about. But if you're not doing the strategy and if you're not doing it right, you will never understand. You'll never see results. You might see a follower growth, you might see whatever, but you'll never actually see it turn into sales. So those of you who are asking about SEO and optimization, I'm totally going to go into that in just a minute. So let me tell you this. There are bloggers, YouTubers, and podcasters, no joke, in all three platforms with millions of listeners, readers, watchers who make no money. I'm not playing. There's also people who have 1 million people on Instagram or 10,000 followers on TikTok, or 10,000 or 20,000 likes on their Facebook page who make no money. If you are not converting the people over to sales, it's not doing you a bit of good, right? So I want to tell you about me. This was the phases of Jessica's content creation in Britney Spears gifts because, why not, right? So essentially, I was creating content. I was putting content out into YouTube or blog. Like we'll even take once I did start YouTubing, right? We can start there. I was putting content out and literally nobody was finding it. And I would be like, why is this not working? Like I've been told that if you do a YouTube video with your blog post, that it's going to help. And nobody was actually finding my content. So I was like really upset that I was doing all this work, which when you get started creating content, it feels like a lot of work. Then I realized one day, the middle Britney phase, I realized one day that I was like missing a step, that I wasn't optimizing my content. Again, I'm going to get into that in a second. I wasn't optimizing my content and I wasn't then converting them to sales, right? At Home with Jen, I'm one of those with 10K on Facebook making no conversions. Totally. There's a lot of people who do. You're not alone. So I realized that I wasn't doing everything I needed to be doing to make this happen. Then I did the things and now I'm the last Britney. Like, oh my God, that actually worked. I have one YouTube video that is about creating digital products, which I made. It's one of my very first videos and it never got found, like ever, which was fine. Like whatever, I didn't really care. I was just putting out content to go with my blog post, whatever. But it was like never getting found. And once I learned, like I was middle Britney and I learned there's more to this. Like what can I do to do, more to this? And I learned how to optimize. I learned the framework I'm going to teach you. I went back and optimized that video and that blog post. And it's still one of the most popular videos and blog posts that drives traffic to my site and my YouTube channel today. So that was because I took the time to go back and redo that content. Okay. I'm going to talk more about that in a second. The cool thing about mistakes is that they're easy to fix. If you have been creating content that's not converting, then cool. We're going to fix how to do that, right? Like we're going to fix that process. You can start using content to market your business. You can learn to optimize. Like all of you who are like, optimize? What do you mean optimize? You can learn this, okay? And you can spin the table and start converting the content you're putting out into the world, or just start doing content in the right way, okay? So the 4-part framework. So this is why I said I was going to talk about optimization because it's part of the framework. 4-part framework for creating content that converts, okay? Creating content that converts to sales, email list growth, authority, income, like whatever you want, okay? Also, creating content that converts to freedom. And, I didn't put that in like the marketing for this webinar, but honest to Pete, no joke, I was able to almost take the whole year off in 2018 to build our house. And you would never know that. I was still creating YouTube videos. I was still putting out podcast episodes. I was still doing the things. I was still launching things here and there, but I wasn't having to rat race to the next sale because it was coming in on autopilot. Okay. So 4 things. I definitely want you to write these down. Or take a screenshot. Okay. Focus. And we're going to go through each one of them. Don't worry. Focus, consistency, optimization, and conversion. Okay. That is the 4-part framework to making this work, okay? Whether you're doing a YouTube video, a blog post, a YouTube podcast episode, whatever. Focus, consistency, optimization, conversion, okay? Yes, Kate, I'm going to talk about that. So here's what, I'm actually going to talk about that right now. So here's what the first piece of the framework is. It is focus, okay? Focus on one platform. That's what I mean by this, okay? Focus on one platform. So remember, I said the 3 searchable types of platform content: YouTube, blog, podcasting. Okay? But you can't do them all. I can swear to you, you will burn out. You will stop. You'll be like, this friggin' doesn't work for me. And you will get out of there just as quick as you came in. Okay? But you have to pick one. There are so many reasons why one might be better than the other, and it would take me 100,000 years to get through all of those, and so I can't go through all the scenarios. But here in just a minute, when I talk about who this strategy works for and like how to apply it to different business models, I will hit on that just a little bit, I promise, okay? So with focus, you've got to pick one platform you're going to create content on. You're going to YouTube, you're going to blog, you're going to podcast, you're going to pick one, okay? And you're going to focus on that. You are going to create a plan and a strategy around that. And I can swear to you, if you will focus and say, this is my focus. I'm not being distracted by golden object over here. I'm not being distracted by thing over here. I'm not being distracted by somebody telling me I need to do this. I'm going to focus on this one thing. Then it will cause you to be able to go pick out those shiny objects. Cheryl just said shiny object syndrome. Totally. So once you do that, it will allow you to go pick out all the things, okay? You have to focus right now, though. If I could literally tell you the most important part of this, it is trying to focus on one thing. Don't try and do it all. You will like totally screw it all up, basically. So create a plan and a strategy dependent on the platform you're using. So the strategy and the plan is going to be different per podcast and YouTube and blogging. It's all going to be different. And then you're going to focus on the growth of that one platform. Okay. YouTube was my growth platform for about 18 months. I was all in on YouTube from about July of 2000. I'm trying to think of the dates. July of 2016 to 2018 sometime, early 2018, I literally only focused on YouTube to the point where I shut down my podcast. One of the reasons was to focus on my YouTube channel. Okay, I shut it down. I had a co-hosted podcast. We'd been going for 3 years. I shut it down. I left that partnership because I needed to focus. And then I have since created my another podcast of my own, but it was because I needed to focus on that one. Okay. And I swear, guys, I'm going to answer all your questions, and even some of the next slides might answer some of them. So the second part of the 4-part framework is consistency. This is so key because, and I would love like a good, like, yep, that I've done that. How many of you have created content in some way? You've blogged, you've YouTubed, you've podcast, and within 2 or 3 weeks, you accidentally forget to record videos or record podcast episodes or write the blog post. And so you go a week without posting, and then you're like, you post the next week, and then you go a week without posting, and then you might go like 4 weeks because something came up, but you're not consistent, right? I know I've done that, and I still do that. There has not been a podcast, or not a podcast. There was not a YouTube video last week, and it was totally a mistake. It's one of those things where I thought I had one banked for one more week because I batch all my content and I didn't. Okay. So yeah, Jen said, it seems like YouTube, I think she said that a second ago. Seems like YouTube is easier to grow on these days. It depends on your business, right? But yes, all of you are like, yes, I have totally done it. But here's the thing. In order to focus, in order to grow, in order to make this happen, make it work for you, make sure you have content that works, you have to be consistent because of these reasons. SEO, which is search engine optimization, which means that the search engines see your content before it sees other people's content and shows you first. I'm going to show you more examples about that in a second. But it makes the SEO gods happy, honest to Pete. So if you are needing just one reason to be consistent, it's because the whole strategy won't work if you don't. Even if you are optimizing, which we're going to talk about next, even if you're optimizing like crazy in the best possible ways, if you're not consistent, it's not going to matter. It also keeps your viewers coming back. So, if you like, I'm trying to think of a TV show that's on right now. And I can't think of one because we watch Netflix. But anyway, like if you're watching a TV show and they're like, oh, here's the premiere episode of this show. And then they're like, we don't know when we'll release the next episode. It's basically just going to be when we feel like it. So come back. They will never get people to come back. The reason that TV says every Monday at 9 or every Tuesday night at 8 or whatever is so that their viewers keep coming back for the content they're creating, and your content should be no different. It also keeps you relevant. If someone was my most popular top 5 YouTube videos on YouTube right now that are directing so many of my email list growth, my sales, etc., are all over a year old. Every last one of them. And I actually sent that in an email here recently, but they're all over a year old. Sure, they might work for me, but if I wasn't being consistent, they wouldn't be showing up in search because YouTube wouldn't like me because I'm not consistent. 2, if they come there and they see these videos are a year old and I have no other new videos since then they're going to think I've dropped off the face of the earth. They're not going to see me as relevant anymore, right? And then it also breeds legitimacy. Consistency breeds legitimacy. So if you can continue to be consistent, you will be seen as legit to the people you're trying to attract. Okay, optimization. So many of you had questions about this. This is the process to making your content kind of beefed up so that the search engines can find it. So this is, remember search engines, Google, YouTube, Pinterest are the top 3. So optimizing the content you do so that people can actually find you. And I've been going back and looking at my older videos. Yeah, totally, Sheena. So it's key. Optimization is like such a key to making all of this work, because if you don't do the right things, nobody can find you. So example is, if I put out a YouTube video and I literally do nothing with it but put it up, right? I just upload it to YouTube and I don't title it, or I title it, but like I didn't spend any time researching if the title is something people search for or not. I just kind of title it something and I just put it out there and hit publish. It is not optimized in the best way for YouTube to find that content. Same thing with a blog. If you just go and start blogging and make it like a journal or whatever, and you put it out on the internet, it's not going to matter because nobody is going to be finding it, okay? People can't find you if they don't know how to find you. So if you're not optimizing your content in the right way, and every platform is different. Again, we've already been on here an hour. I would literally have to have like a 7-hour workshop to tell you how to optimize every platform. But I'm going to give you a tool that'll help you at the end, so it's fine. But every platform is different. So you have to learn how to optimize so that people can actually find your content, okay? We want you to beat all the other people, coming in who are also going for the content you want to create. You want to attract your ideal client and you want to be discovered because it is key. If somebody's searching for something on the Googleverse, you want them to find your content or on iTunes or whatever. And then conversion is the last piece of the framework. And it's honestly like the most important piece to actually drive sales. So someone said earlier, Jen, I believe it was, that she has, quite a bit of followers on Facebook and it converts to nothing. There's so many YouTubers who do that. There's so many bloggers who do that. You have to figure out a way to bridge the gap between content and sales, or content and email list, or whatever. So you have to find a way to take them from this to this, right? And again, there's so many examples of this. It would be really hard for me to tell you all of them, but one good example of this is getting someone who watched your content, read your content, listened to your content, to then subscribe to your email list, and then having subsequent emails that go out to them that allow them to get to know you and hopefully purchase something from you. That's one good example. Again, there's thousands, okay? It doesn't do any good if you have all those people watching or listening or whatever, if they don't take more action, right? It's the same thing with social media followers. If you're not causing them to go somewhere else and take action, it does no good to have them, right? They want to get more from you. You want to entice people to get more from you. You should act like you know what you're talking about in your content so that then they're like, wait, I want more. Wait, I want more, right? And the conversion part, Diana, that's a loaded question, but you attract your ideal client by producing the type of content they want to read. I'm going to talk more about that in a second. But I do have a good podcast about it. So you want to get them to know who you are. You want to get them on that first date. You want them to see you across the bar, which is your content, right? They're like, I like how she looks or he looks. I need to ask them out on a date. And to do that, you need to ask them to take action in some way, shape, or form. And again, this is a whole different ball game and not something I could possibly go into on this webinar, but it is so key, okay? Again, I'm going to give you a tool to help you in a minute. Don't think I'm leaving you hanging. I just literally can't take all the examples. So here's a really good example of how I've done this. Or hopefully it's a good example. So I can go up against some of the bigger dogs in search terms and be found, and then people come into my ecosystem, even though I'm much smaller than the people I'm going against. So this example right here that I want to show you first is, I'm ranking on YouTube for the keywords, how to tag YouTube videos. Okay. These two guys above me, if you'll look here, I grabbed this screenshot when I had 47,000 subscribers. I have a little more than that now, but this one has 566,000 subscribers, and he's literally like the grandfather of, or the father. I don't know. He'd be really mad if I called him a grandfather, but the father of YouTube strategy. His name's Daryl Eves, and he's amazing. And then this guy, I don't know him, but he has 237,000 subscribers, and I had 47,000, yet I can hold my own and rank above people who you can't see here under me that have way more subscribers than me because I know how to optimize, okay? And I know how, and I'm consistent, and I convert people and all the things, right? Digital planner. If you search for digital planner, then my video is the first one that's going to come up, even on a Google search. It definitely does on YouTube, but even on a Google search, okay? That's what that is. What's trending on YouTube? I want to show you that this is not just for YouTube videos. So what's trending on YouTube? Is searched 74,000 times, and my blog post is found as the 7th result, okay? Out of 74,000 people searching and a lot of competition, my blog post is found. Not my YouTube video, my blog post. Then they're coming to my blog. Then I can do so much with them once they do, right? Here are 2 examples of podcast episodes that are ranking. So content marketing, if you go search for that, I am ranking number 1 for content marketing above some really big dogs in the industry. If you scroll down in that screenshot, or if you could scroll down on the screenshot, or if you go search it, Amy Porterfield, Pat Flynn, all of these people have episodes that are underneath mine because I did what I needed to do to rank there, right? Same thing with SEO, which is over here. If you type in SEO on iTunes, you get a bajillion results, and I am number 3, okay? And not only am I number 3, but look, I'm the newest one up on that list. So if people are looking for something that's relevant, they're going to click on the one that is the newest piece of content because it's going to teach them the most relevant things. So to be found for your content, you have to target keywords that your ideal client is searching for. So someone asked me a second ago, how do you attract your ideal client? You have to target keywords through content. Yes, you can totally steal that from me. You have to target keywords through content, blogging, podcast, YouTube, whatever, that then takes those people and turns them into something, okay? And those keywords you go after based on what your ideal client or customer wants. You have to know your client or customer, right? That's the biggest piece here. What are they searching for? What are they Googling? What are they looking on YouTube for? What do they want to listen to podcast episodes about? And then you have to be the one to create that content. Okay, so it is not hard to do any of this, I swear. And I need to hit on something really quickly because I do talk about it again in a second, but I want to make sure that you're understanding. I create a lot of content. For the most part, I say for the most part because there was no YouTube video last week, but for the most part, I'm putting out at least one YouTube video a week. I go through phases where I do 3 a week, 2 a week. It just kind of depends on what I'm doing that, during that time. But at least one YouTube video a week with an accompanying blog post, then also a podcast episode every week with an accompanying blog post, okay? So I'm doing a lot, and then I'm also on social media. I'm doing a lot of content, but I legitimately spend a few hours a month creating it. That's all. Just a couple hours a month. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a second, but I want you to know it's not hard. Once you figure out what platform you should be on, what you should be creating content about, then it's really easy to figure out your strategy of like, okay, well, I need to create all this content. Let me mark off a day to do that. Let me mark off a day to edit. Let me mark off a little bit to do this thing or whatever. So it really just depends on what's right for you, but I swear it is not hard. And at first it feels hard. And when it doesn't work, it feels hard. And when you can't be consistent because you don't have a strategy in place for how you're being consistent, it feels hard. But I swear to you now, and even a year into doing it right, it did not, and it does not feel hard still to this day. So hold on. So I want to tell you a couple of ways that content has grown my business in general. And that's, I said somebody from the Germania conference, Germania Insurance Conference is on here, Emily, I think. And I said I was going to mention them. This is where I mentioned them. So this is just like on a regular basis, how my content has grown my business. I got an email last year from someone who said, hey, I found you on YouTube and I loved your style of teaching. I host a conference every year for this company and tell me your speaker's rate. We'd love to fly you out and have you speak. Now, I speak at a lot of conferences, but they're mostly marketing conferences. Like they are specifically for like marketing professionals, social media people, that kind of thing. And most of those conferences are not paid because they end up having people come on to speak who then are speaking to a group of their ideal clients and audience, right? Hey, Emily, yeah. So essentially it's like, you come speak for us, you're seen as an authority, and now these people you spoke to will hopefully buy from you. And I am totally happy to do that 99% of the time. But a company I'm speaking to people who may or may not be my clients, then, I would need to charge for that, right? So this company reached out to me, asked me to speak at their conference, paid me to speak at their conference, paid for my travel, and now there's also new people in my audience from that conference. Right? So that all came from YouTube. I didn't know these people before at all. Literally, they emailed us and said, I love you. I found you on YouTube. It allows me to have legitimacy when I pitch myself too. Okay. So if I go to pitch myself for, being someone's podcast guest or speaking or being a guest expert or I don't know. I mean, insert thing here I could pitch myself for. I can use my content as a legitimacy builder. So I can say, I want to come talk to you about SEO. And look, I really know my stuff because I have all of these examples. Or I have a pretty rockin' YouTube channel and you can literally go and see how many subscribers I have. If I am touting my podcast, I might give screenshots of the times that I've been in the top 200 on iTunes. Or I might even send them my Google Analytics and say, look, I get like a crap ton of traffic to my website every month, and that's a legitimacy piece, right? So I use it as legitimacy. I also use it as a way, and this is key, honestly, this is exactly what we're talking about, is for people to find me every day, whether or not I'm working, and get on my email list or buy from me. So I could be, at my kid's ball game and get a text that I made a sale. I could be, doing this webinar and gaining 60 new email subscribers because of a video somebody found me on, right? I can be doing other things and then still having those people come in, whether it's a sale or my email list, but either way, I'm bringing them down a funnel. And then I can be asked to speak at conferences or be on podcasts because of my online presence. So social media, again, has an expiration date, right? Like you have to continue posting, but even about 6 months into my YouTube career, if you will, I didn't have that many subscribers. At all. And I was at a conference and literally just talking to someone at an after party. And he asked me to speak at his conference. I spoke at his conference last year, and now I'm the closing keynote at that same conference this year. So I can be asked of that, like those things, because of my online presence. And then those things grow. So it ends up being like a snowball effect for the content that I create to be like the mecca for what causes all of these other pieces of my business to grow, right? Thanks for all the time. Yep, no worries. I understand. We're going a little long, but it's all right. I like to talk. Crap ton is my favorite phrase. All the things in crap ton, they basically mean the same thing, So let's talk about what businesses can use this. As I know a lot of you have been talking about this, and I'm going to talk specifically about platforms here too. Really quickly. I'm going to run through this really quickly. So it doesn't matter what kind of business you have, you can use this. If you're product-based, service-based, information-based, I don't really care. If you are selling a product, awesome. You can create content that converts to sales. I promise. If you have a service-based business like Wendy, who's a web designer, you can absolutely create content that attracts the right people and you can convert them to sales. It looks different. Like the back end of it looks different, right? So for a product-based business, you might create content in whatever platform that gets, you really optimize for Pinterest and Google. People find it and click through to your blog post, and then they find your product and they buy directly. Like that might be the funnel you take them through. For service-based, it might be that they find your content in whatever platform you're optimizing for, and then they get to know you and you give them the opportunity to book a call with you. The back end is going to look different, but for everybody, this works. Information-based, which is what I am. So if you're selling courses or affiliate marketing or anything like that, if you are creating content, then you can, attract the right people and lead them down a path to purchasing a course from you or a digital product or whatever. So it really doesn't matter. Now, really quickly, let me talk about which platform might be best. It's honestly going to be dependent on your ideal client. What platform is best for you is dependent on where your people are. And that is the honest to God's truth, okay? So if your people are reading blog posts, that's where you need to focus. If your people are on YouTube looking up tutorials, that's where you need to focus. If your people are listening to podcasts, that's where you need to focus. So you really have to get in the mind of your ideal client to figure that out. Now, here's the other piece of this though. That doesn't mean you can't use something that, at first doesn't necessarily do this thing, right? Like maybe you're like, oh, my people necessarily aren't on a podcast, so I can't do that, but you might lead them down the path to listening to the podcast. So it does apply. My face is in the way again. Hold on. Okay. It does apply to you Content is literally changing the way the world works. When people need to know something, they go to Google. That is where they're going, or they go to YouTube or Pinterest, depending on the person, right? So if you are the one helping them, you're the one they'll buy from. So if you are the person who is like, I'm helping you, then you're going to be the one they buy from when they're ready to pay, because you just gave them such good free information, right? So I don't know if you've ever read Donald Miller's book, Building a Story Brand, but he talks, and Emily's going to be like, she talked about that in her talk. I totally did. But he talks about this. You need to be the helper for your customer or client. You don't need to be the hero. You need to help them discover how they can be the hero in their own story, right? And so if you're the helper, they're going to be invested in you from the beginning, right? So this is Jamie, just a quick example of another service-based business. She is a system setup specialist. So she does a lot of like Dubsado, Honeybook, just system setups. And she took my strategies, booked 3 like service-based clients in, I think it was like a week, based off of Google searches, all because she did some YouTube videos and blog posts that helped get her out into Google, okay? So it is for you regardless of your business type, I swear. Now, again, this only works with SEO-driven content because it's found in search and does not have a shelf life. I am not talking at all about social media. That doesn't mean that I don't care about social media, because I definitely do and definitely think it needs to be part of your strategy. But if you will focus on creating SEO driven, which is search engine optimized or optimization driven content, then that can help like spread into your social media. It'll actually make it easier for you to create social media content because you know what you should be creating it about based on your podcast episode, your blog, your YouTube video, etc. So as you know, because of like 90% of your questions, there is so much more to this, okay? And look, I put hashtag all the things. So many of you are like, I like when you say all the things. There you go. SEO is a beast all on its own, guys. I could literally not teach you everything you need to know about SEO in a 4-hour time frame, right? So SEO is a beast. Content planning, what you should create content about. Again, it would need to be a 4-hour workshop. Like, you need to know that you create content for your ideal people, but you also need to know it's things that they care about. So content planning, strategies for each platform. Every platform is different. YouTube is very different from podcasting. Podcasting is very different from YouTube. Blogging is very different. It's all very different. So based on what you choose, it's going to be a different strategy. How to connect your content to the sale is going to be different for every business. So it's just a lot of information, right? It's a lot of things you need to know. So I have a course that I created, and if you've been around a while, you know that my initial membership was actually called the same thing, but it's not the same. It's different. That membership's been shut down for a year. So there's a UPS man somewhere. I hear him. Is he in my driveway? I don't know. Okay. So I've created a course called Create, Convert, Grow. Okay, Create, Convert, Grow. And it literally is going to teach you how to figure out which platform is for you. The whole first module is how to figure out which platform is for you so that you can create content. Then, once you pick the platform, I teach you everything you need to know about YouTube, everything you need to know about podcasting, everything you need to know about blogging to get your content found on each platform. So whichever one you decide to do, you have the content. Or if you decide to do one now and in 6 months you're ready to add another one, it's all there for you. I then teach you how to take your content and actually convert it so people buy from you, okay? And then how to use that process and double down on it. And I teach you how to do it on just a few hours every single month, okay? So let me tell you a little bit about the course. I'm going to type through these really quick. These are the modules. Whoop, my face is in the way again. These are the modules. So what type of content is right for you and your business goals? And by the way, if you're on the page, if you're on the page for the webinar and not on YouTube, there's already a button where you can go enroll. Okay. But I'll tell you all about it. So, what type of content is right for your business and goals, how to create that content. So YouTube, blog, podcast, whatever you want to do. The content strategy with your business model and your preferred channel. So if you want to go with podcasting and this is your business model, here's how you create content for that. That was so many of y'all's questions, and it's just so hard because it's different for everybody. So I can't teach it to you on an hour-long workshop, right? Connecting your content to your growth strategy, which is your email list and your sales, and how to do that in a way where it happens automatically. And then scaling your content and growth strategy. So once you've figured out how to do that, how do you scale it and make it work on autopilot on a larger scale? And then such a big key is the batch strategies so that you do not have to spend more than a few hours a month creating this content. Redistribution to other platforms. So if you are blogging, if you are podcasting, if you are YouTubing, I'm teaching you how to take that and turn it into your social media content. So it all works together. And then a bonus module. So many of you were asking about affiliates, a bonus module for incorporating affiliates into your content to increase the money you make from that content. So for me, one piece of content can make me sales from 3 different arenas. So if it's a YouTube video, it'll make me sales from, I'm going to type in a URL right here really quick so that if you're ready and you're on the YouTube page, you can go check it out. It's not a sales page. It's literally just a checkout page. If you're on the page where I am live and not on YouTube, there's a button below. So essentially, I can put out one YouTube video and I make money from YouTube itself. They pay me for the ads that they run on my channel. Then I also can make money because I get them on my email list and sell them something or sell them something directly. That happens. And I can make money from that same YouTube video because I included affiliate links. So there's a bonus module for how to do that too, because I didn't want to leave that out. Now, here's the deal. You can't read what that word says. Hold one moment. Move my face again. Okay. So here's the deal. Unlike other products, I'm not teaching you that you have to do one thing. I'm not teaching you that you have to podcast or you have to blog or you have to YouTube. I'm not. I'm teaching you how to figure out which one is best for you and how you can be successful at that platform based on your business model, right? I'm telling you that you need to be creating content so that it saves you time, right? I want you to not feel like you're going crazy because you are constantly chasing after the next sale. And I want you to not feel like you're constantly drowning in a sea of not knowing where the next dollar is coming from or not knowing when you're going to have to give up and go back to work, right? I want to remove you from that, and I know the best way to do that is with content, but I don't care what platform you use. It's really dependent on your particular business. And again, this course will teach you how to figure out which one is best for you. It also has a Facebook group, so if you really need some more hands-on help, you can get it there. Then I'm going to teach you how to do this so you no longer have to think that content creation is going to take over your life, right? I don't want you to think that if you YouTube or blog or podcast that it's literally all you do, because I swear to you it's not. I also want to teach you how to optimize your content so it shows up in search. I am not the biggest YouTube channel in the world, but I can hold my own with the big dogs. I am not the biggest blog in the world, but I can hold my own with the big dogs. I'm not the biggest iTunes podcaster in the world, but I can hold my own, and I want to teach you the same way. I hand you the optimization tools that you can't find anywhere else. Nobody else is teaching this stuff that I know of. And I will help you develop a strategy to keep sales growing and rolling forever and ever. You're not going to have to worry about it anymore because it works for so long for you, okay? So I want to tell you do have the time. So someone asked if this is all online. It is all online. There is a Facebook group, so it's all online and you can go through it at your own pace. I tried to join I don't have a Facebook group right now. Julie, I don't have a free Facebook group. The only way to be in a Facebook group with me is to have my paid products right now. So yeah, I'm sorry. I used to have one, so there's probably an old link floating around, but there's no live component to this at all. It is a very inexpensive course. Most courses teaching you anything around this are going to be $1,000 or more, and I did not want this to be the case for this. Okay. So it is $297. And that is like dirt cheap. Actually, when I was telling one of my like business friends about relaunching this or launching it, she was like, that's too cheap. You shouldn't do that. But I know that so many of my audience is just like so many of you who are struggling to even pay for groceries this month. And I didn't want it to be, a problem. So we make the time for things that we want to do, right? Things that are priority for us, we make the time. So if you know that this is a strategy that will cause you to be able to take a break if your kid is sick, or go traveling and know you're still making money, or take a whole month off or whatever. If you know you can do that, I can promise you have the time to do this. So let me tell you about the bonuses, because I want to make sure you know what awesomeness you're going to get here. Okay. So Create, Convert, Grow, the class is definitely worth $1,000 or more for sure, but I'm not charging that. Because I didn't want to, basically. I really want to just teach this to people who are struggling the same way I was, because that is so, it was such a big deal for me, okay? So for the bonuses, and this is during the launch. So Sheena asked how long this would be available. It's a 5-day launch, so you will have 5 days to purchase. However, there's on-webinar bonuses I want to tell you about. So for the bonuses during this launch, one, you're getting it at $200 off, or stop our tears, totally. So one, you are getting it for $200 off. I am going to make this $497, but for now, I wanted it to be $297. I wanted anybody who could and would do the work to use it and do it and have it at their disposal. Okay. You also get a Trello planning board. So what that is when you're planning your podcast, blog, or YouTube content, I've created a Trello board that will help you move it through the process and make it systematized, so it's not a crazy process for you. You're going to get a Pinterest bonus module. My friend Nicole is going to come in, and she might still be here. She was here earlier. Is going to come in at the end of the month. So it's not there yet, but at the end of the month into the Facebook group, or I don't know if we'll do a Zoom call, but either way, she's going to teach you everything you need to know about Pinterest, because I teach a little bit about it in the course, but I am definitely not an expert, and she's going to teach you all the things. Okay. Then there's that bonus module of how to incorporate affiliate marketing. That is not going to be in this course Evergreen at all. So the fact that it's $200 off, that affiliate module, and the Trello board are all bonuses to getting it now. Now, if you purchase while we're on the webinar, so if you purchase before I get off, I'm going to answer questions as long as I possibly can. I have to go get my kids in 30 minutes, but as long as I possibly can, and as long as y'all want to sit here, I will answer questions. If we purchase today, how long do we have to complete it? Oh no, you have it forever. So it's completely up to you. But on the webinar only, if you purchase today, you get all those bonuses, you get the actual course, and you get text message support directly with me. This is the first time I've actually done this, and I'm really pumped about it. So you can literally send me a text message and I will answer you back. Now, there's obviously parameters around this. I'm not going to answer you back in the middle of the night or on the weekends, but you get text message support with me above and beyond the Facebook group. Kelly, is it the same content that is in the Create, Convert, Grow membership area? It's very similar. So if you still have access, I wouldn't buy the course. But I know that there are very few people who still have access. It's probably like 20 or less. So Kelly, for you particularly, I wouldn't buy the course because it's very, very similar content. There might be a couple other things like the affiliate module, the Pinterest module that you won't get there. But for the most part, it's very similar. And if for those of you who don't know what she's talking about, don't worry about it. It was an old thing I did. Yay, signing up. Okay, I'm already getting some sign ups. So yay. The text message support will last as long as you want it to. I'm not putting a cap on it. So we will always keep it open. So this is actually something I'm testing out, and will probably be something I incorporate into my other courses as well, to allow the text message support to happen. So I had to find a system to be able to do this, so I wasn't giving out my real phone number and all the things. But it will be there for you forever, as long as you're in the course, right? And which, if you pay it, you're in the course forever. So if you need help with anything, you have the text message support. So as long as there's support available for the course, there will be support on text message if you get it now. Okay. I had planned YouTube. Yay. Okay, awesome. So here's the thing. If you buy on the webinar, you do get text message support 100%. Nobody else is getting that. Okay, nobody else. So if you do not buy on the webinar, if you say, I want to buy this, but I can't buy it right now, I'm sorry, but the text message support part is done after the webinar is over. Not however, like that was really the end of that sentence. That was a period. Okay. But you'll still have a Facebook group and things like that. But just know that that is not a bonus I will be continuing outside of the webinar. Okay. So again, the course is valued at $1,000 for sure. The bonus is definitely over $3,000. On webinar tech support, definitely $500 value, if not more, because if you guys know me at all, you know I value my privacy and value my being able to do things when I want to do them. And then the biggest thing for me is if all of this helped you create consistent income without having to work as hard as you are now, would it be worth it? And I made the course with that premise in mind. Like, if I'm going to create this course, then I want to make sure that it's going to help somebody create income that is not hard to work for, because that's the goal, right? Like, we all want to be easy peasy lemon breezy in our business, So I had two choices. I could totally charge full price, which is what I've always done. If you've followed me at all ever, I don't like to offer discounts. I've always done that. Or, I could make it a really massive deal, help the people who really need the help. Because again, thinking back to me being in that place, that was something big for me, right? And also give you some massive bonuses. So honestly, this course is worth so much more than I'm charging for it. I'm telling you, I got some flack from some business friends, but I just said, you know what? I don't care. Because it's going to create consistent income for you, going to create content that sells for you. And I'm giving you the process to do it all based on the time you have available. So I'm going to answer all the questions here in a second, but if you don't see the button below, if you're not on the page, I put the URL in the YouTube comments, but also it's down at the bottom of this slide right here that you're not seeing, so it doesn't matter. Hold on. It is heyjessica.com/CCG will take you to the buy now page. I don't even have a sales page for it. And that's because you guys watching the webinar are the only ones who can buy it right now. So, so $297/CCG, heyjessica.com/CCG, or the button below if you're watching on the regular page. There is a payment plan. You do end up paying about $60 more total, but if you can't swing $297, I wanted to be able to offer you a payment plan. So you can do like 3 payments, I think, of $119, and it's all listed there on the sales page. Okay. So again, the modules, this is just a quick little rundown on the modules. I won't go through that again, but for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to take questions. You can get all the bonuses. You can get $200 off. You can get tech support, all of that for the next 15 minutes. And then that part is over and it'll stay the same price. The $200 off is going to keep, but no text support after the webinar. And we'll continue to drop bonuses off throughout the launch period. So, and I see all your questions. I'm coming, I swear. I don't want you to wait anymore. I know what it's like to sit back and be like, oh, it would be great to be able to do that. And then not be able to figure out how to do it. And so that's why I created the course. I want you to shortcut your way. I don't want you to spend 5 years or 6 years or 1 year figuring it all out, right? Okay, so your two choices today are, do you spend all your time chasing the next sale or the client, right? Or do you let me help you get them on autopilot? Because I'm literally can tell you I was where 90% of you are and have taken myself down another path, and this path is so much easier and better. Okay. So again, don't miss it. Learn how to create content that converts to sales so you can grow your business. heyjessica.com/CCG, or just click the button below on the regular page. Now, okay. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can for the next 10 minutes. And then I have to put on real pants because I don't have on real pants, so I can go get my kids. So I'm going to scroll up. So if you have questions, leave them below, but I'm going to scroll up and find some of the earlier comments and questions. Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay, so Wendy asked if this is the same information that's in Inner Circle or if this is different. So if you don't know about my Inner Circle, it is monthly coaching. It's just, basically there's not like not a linear path for it. It's whatever is hot in the industry right now, plus whatever my members have asked for. So it's monthly coaching. Wendy, it is not the same. I will say that sure, you've probably learned some of the strategies in the Inner Circle that are in CCG, but it is not the same at all. And actually there's a post scheduled to go up 5 minutes ago, probably in the Inner Circle, that kind of tells about it. Okay. So what if I just came to the video from your email? I don't think I signed up. Can I still have the replay? Oh, Cheryl, sure. We'll figure it out, I promise. All right, hold on. Let me scroll. Okay, a lot of people are asking what content works for what type of business, and that's something I really dive deep into in the course. But again, you have to figure out where your people are. Oh my goodness, thank you guys so much. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of you have already bought. Thank you so much. Like I say, I'm keeping it open through the end of the webinar. It will still be open after that, but you won't get the text message support. Also, that's what I was going to say a minute ago. If you have bought, if you're one of those 16 that have purchased already, then what'll happen is we will send you a separate email. So I am going to get all the names together, after the webinar, and we will send you a separate email either later this evening or early tomorrow morning to get you set up with that text message support. Okay. Someone asked what kind of refund policy. So it's on the checkout page, but essentially it's the same refund policy I use for all of my courses. And that is that I require you to show the work. So if you do the strategies that I teach in the course and you can actually show me that you've done that over about I think I put 60 day period, and you still haven't grown your email list or your income, then I will give you your money back. But I need to see that you've done the work. I'm not just going to give people their money back because they decided they didn't want to do the work. That's just not how I roll, right? Okay, 17, 18, we got more rolling in. Can I go back to the module screen? Yes. Wendy, let me pop back over there. I'll just leave it on that because that is a good one to stay on. Come on. Okay. Do you know when you're doing Christy, my in-person? So Christy, the in-person she's asking about is going to be an in-person high touch, intensive, small group retreat here in my town locally. And I don't totally know, but I do think we'll open up signups for it soon, and it'll probably be sometime in the summer. So yeah, but I will say that's definitely a more high end, and it's going to be high end in price too. Just saying. That you were losing your mind and giving people your real number. Nope, not doing that. Okay, let's see. What about if we know our platform to be YouTube and we have YouTube Rockstars? So Natalie, if you have YouTube Rockstars, I honestly, and you know that YouTube is your platform, I don't know that I would purchase Create, Convert, Grow, but there probably is a lot of new information inside of here, like the affiliate information, the Pinterest information. It's very different than YouTube Rockstars. But I will say the YouTube module is all pulled from YouTube Rockstars because it was the same content. But that's just like a third of one module, if you will. Yay. Okay. How long will the text message? I answered that one. I answered that. Ashley said this is seriously like a light bulb moment for me. I've been killing myself on social with content and no ROI. Yay. I'm so glad. We need some help building a strategy. Oh, I totally know. That's the course. Because the thing is, I would love to be able to teach you for free, but it would take me like 10 hours. And the course, I'm sure, is that long. I didn't even look to see how long it was, but essentially, like the 4 pieces of the strategy are what I gave you, and they can all, if you want to go search for all of the things on the internet, you could probably figure it out. But yeah. Okay. 18, 19, 20. You guys are rock stars. Okay. as your revenue generator. Yes, I already hit that one. I answered a bunch of these questions as I kept going. Perfect. I knew it would be, and saving all my monies for it. Okay, good. I haven't received one yet. I did get one sent to the Facebook group. Would a confirmation email be sent after the purchase? I haven't received one yet sent to the Facebook group. Oh, yes, you should get one. I do know when I tested it earlier, it was probably, 5-10 minutes after I purchased it. So it may be a little bit, but if you don't get one, definitely email us. My email is howdy@heyjessica.com. So if you don't get that, you can totally do that. You feel like it's going to help me with speaking as my primary goal. So, hey, Peyton, speaking, I will say there's massive authority in creating content that people can see how you speak. So whether it's podcast or visually on a YouTube video or whatever, it is one of those things where once people see how you speak and see how smart you are and your content, but also see how you speak, I'm really charismatic, or I'm really methodical, or whatever. It really breeds legitimacy. So I will say that, and I would say this to anybody, that the reason I'm able to speak on stages is because of my YouTube content. So yes, I would definitely say yes, if you will dive in and really do it well. Thanks so much for your time, Sheena. No problem. I'm so glad. I can't wait to have you when you are ready. I totally understand. Any tips for those with depression that struggle with consistency? Yeah. So I teach batching in the course. I teach how to batch your content so that you're only spending a couple hours a month. So essentially you can navigate that around any kind of bad times during the month. And I know you don't necessarily know when that is, but you could say, this week, on my best feeling day, I'm going to record these pieces of content. But also you have to be willing to do the work, right? That's all there is to it. I understand that people have illnesses and that there are things. Our whole family's been sick in some way or another for 2 months straight, and me being 2 of those. So I understand that things come up, but you also have to be willing to put the work in. So, Cynthia said, how are the payments spaced out? It's 3 payments. So 1 today, and then 1 exactly a month from today, and exactly a month from that day. Okay. The course is fully online. Yep. The payments are for the next 3 months. Yep. Okay, perfect. Does anybody have any other questions? I'm sure I missed some because as I'm scrolling, I know I answered a lot of these as we were going, and also then answered them during my content, but I know I'm missing some more. So does anybody have any other questions? If not, gotta go get the kiddo. Yay. I gotta go get my kiddos here in a second too. Thank you, Julie. Yes, I'm pumped, so pumped for all of you guys to be in the program. I don't know how many purchased now. I've lost count. But I'm so excited because this was the game changer for me. This was what got me out of the treadmill and off the treadmill and into being able to take a step back if I didn't feel good, or take a step back if my kids were sick, or take a step back if I was traveling, or take a step back or whatever, right? For whatever reason, right? I'm in. Yay, Joe Neal. What do you think about video podcasting? Oh, yes, I saw that question. Yeah, I would say that's too much. You don't want to put podcasts on YouTube because they don't perform. You don't even want to put video podcasts on YouTube because they don't perform. You don't want to put stripped audio from YouTube onto a podcast platform because it doesn't perform. So it ends up being one of those things that just doesn't really cross over well. Once you are ready, I could see you creating YouTube content that is complementary to your podcast, but it's, whatever. The password is different than what's listed on the sales page. It's fine. My team knows. I think I typed out 2 different passwords. My team knows how to accept you guys. It's totally fine. Sabrina, what if your industry is essentially entertainment? I'm a fiction writer and an artist. So and I don't know exactly what direction you meant here with this, what if, where you meant to go with that. it's basically your business card in that instance. So if you are someone who provides a service, which is a writer or an artist, right, then you have to put content into the world so people actually find you. If you're just putting your art up, and I said art with quotation marks because I know writing and art kind of all there together. If you're putting your art out into the world, sure, like occasionally somebody's going to find it, but if you will put yourself out into the world, that's how people will find you. And then they'll see that you do these awesome books and you do these awesome things. So look at any artist or any writer in the whole world who is, someone who has a decent social media following or whatever, or not social media following, I'm sorry, a decent business, right? Like decent income. They are likely creating content that causes more people to come to them. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go. I got to go put real pants on and go get my kids from school. But, I'll leave the on webinar thing open until 3 if you really want to jump in. So it is 2:45 now. My time. So for 15 more minutes, if any of you jump in, I'll call it good. And then, if you have any other questions, you're welcome to DM me on Instagram. I am always there. Right. I'm not teaching anything. How do I market myself? Yeah. So you have to be the one out there. And so it could be that you're and I teach this in the course. So it could be that you are wanting to attract, you have to think about the content for the people you're wanting to attract. You want to attract fiction lovers. So maybe you do roundups of books or storyline comparisons or whatever. Just bought the farm, about in product to convert. I have no clue. I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. I'm an IT project manager. Could this course help? Absolutely. It literally can help everybody. And I talk about, there's a huge module in the course about what kind of content for every kind of person. So you have to create content that your ideal person is looking for. So you may do book roundups or, how to style art in your home or things that aren't necessarily what you do, but it's attracting the right people who then come and buy your art and your books, right? All right. So I'm going to go. You got 15 minutes, less than 15 now, if you still want to jump in on it. But I am so glad you guys came. I'm so glad that you guys got it. I'm so pumped to have all of you. If there's any kind of tech issues, my team will take care of it. Just email us and just give us, just be patient. But if there's any kind of tech issues, definitely let us know. There's probably 2 different Facebook group passwords floating around. It's okay. It's fine. Just use either one of them. It doesn't matter. All right. Bye, y'all.